All right, everyone, we got the bullish structure returning to the market over here. The breakout on the S&P 500 of this descending wedge that we looked at over the weekend into resistance right now. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at the Nasdaq over here, also up almost 2% on the day, coming into a little bit of the resistance over here of this channel. We're going to look at what's next for the Nasdaq. We're going to look at what the biggest risk this week to the market is. We're going to look at the Dow over here right now, and we're also going to look and check in on what happened on the DXY, on gold, silver, and then we're going to check in on Bitcoin. It's going to be an excellent episode. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We're going to start here with the S&P 500. And I just want everyone to listen, I noticed that a lot of people have become very emotional about whatever their opinions and whatever their trades are. This is very dangerous. So I just want to get everyone in a group huddle right now. And I want everyone to take a step back and try their best to look at the market with as much of an unbiased opinion as possible. We're here to follow what's happening with price and price alone. We're not here making predictions what's going to happen with the markets 2 weeks from now. We're not here making predictions what the market's going to happen 2 months from now. All right, let's follow what's going on right now. Let's do our best right now during these pivotal times to stay on the right side of the market. We're going to do just that over here. We're going to work together. All right, everyone in the comments, regardless of whatever your position is, let's help support each other over here. Look over here, you got this descending wedge. We looked at this over the weekend, right? I saw that pattern developing. I pointed it out, and then we have not only the breakout, right? We have the breakout into what? Into the prime trend line over here. That's resistance right now that price is closing down on. I'm going to zoom in over here, and I'm also going to go ahead and take out this resistance. This was big resistance at 33.39. That has now turned back into support. That's a big deal. However, we're not out of the woods by any means necessary. We have a huge risk event this week, and that is the presidential debate, right? Scheduled for tomorrow. The U.S. presidential debate between President Donald Trump and Vice President Biden. It's a big deal to see how the markets react, what the markets are going to be looking for, right? This is only thing we're going to be concerned ourselves with. We're just going to not make any predictions of what we think is going to happen. We're going to wait and see who it turns out won the debate and then how the market reacts to that. This is going to be our first heads up to how the market is going to react towards the election once we figure out who the next president of the United States is, okay? So we're just looking to see whoever it's discerned won the debate and how the market reacted to it. We're going to continue following price. We're going to continue following the technicals. We're coming up into this resistance right over here right now, okay? One of two things could happen next for us. I'm only looking on the long side. I'm not looking to play a rejection of that resistance over here. But Jordan, that's a prime trend line. Yeah, that's a prime trend line. It's definitely resistance right now. However, because we broke out over here of this descending wedge over here, I'm looking here for a bullish continuation, okay? This pattern, this breakout over here will have to become a failure for us to be looking to trade on the downside. And if we break down over here, because if this captures a lot of bulls on the wrong side of the wrong trade over here, if this is a failed breakout attempt, we're going to have a lot of juice sending us down. And again, it is possible next month in October, we have a huge market meltdown. That's on the table. But right now, that doesn't look like what's happening. Right now, it looks like a lot of the damage done to the bullish technical market is returning, and there's over here on the S&P 500 only one more resistance level to take out over here. That's that highlighted trend line over here, that prime trend line. And if the market is able to do that, the market is going to be 100% looking bullish over here. Now, this is off price alone. Okay. Now, what are we looking at over here? A couple of things. We could get a breakout above that trend line over here. At that point, we're just looking for a pullback into resistance and a resumption off. Or we could be rejected right over here tonight, right? And at that point, we're looking for either the pullback into the 33.9 support over here to see if that is turned into support on the retest, if it's successful, and go ahead and make a higher high. That's also an entry, yes, into the resistance. However, it's a good entry over there, first pullback. Or we could have a deeper pullback. We could have a deeper pullback over here into this trend line. That would be super healthy. I'm looking right now. Is it possible that we also get a really big retest all the way down over here? Over here we have, you could see 32.76 support over here. Yep. All those are things that we're watching out for. Okay, only looking on the buy side over here, and it looks pretty good over here. We have a good chance for a little bit further. All right, let's move over to the Nasdaq right now over here, and you can see, and everyone should be clear, we're closing at the highs of the session, the highs of the day, and we're getting close to this resistance over here. So we saw that the S&P is closing in on resistance, and over here the Nasdaq also is closing in on resistance. Now those following know if we break above this trend line over here, this is the top of the channel over here. If we get above that, that opens up the upside with a lot of clarity. Okay, we can get a really big further extension. That's why I say the market's looking more and more bullish at this point. We're above the prime trend line here on the Nasdaq. A pullback into that trend line also is very, very healthy, and then a resumption out that sets up a test of possibly the all-time highs on the Nasdaq. That's not too far off. Now again, we are open that we could see a lot of pressure in October, especially the first 3 weeks of October, in towards the end of the month, right? Because seasonally during the election year, there's a lot of pressure in that month. We have to be open to that. We have to wait for that. We're watching for it, but it has to happen on the charts. We're just not going to take a position short because we believe the market over here is overvalued and because we believe there are too many risks for the market to be able to overcome. That's craziness. What we're doing is we're watching price, we're trading off of price, and it's going to lead us in the right direction. Now, what else could happen over here? Is it possible we break below this prime trend line? That would be less bullish, but we could still have the possibility of holding this big support over here coming in at 11,280. We'll watch that as it develops over here. Right now, so far on the S&P 500, on the Nasdaq, if you're not in a trade, you're on the sidelines, you're waiting, you're watching, you're picking your spot, also aware that tomorrow a huge risk event for the markets. What about the Dow? Let's take a look over here. The Dow also, all right, I want you to focus. Some people are focused in on whether or not we have a head and shoulders on the Dow. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit over here, and you can see left shoulder, head, possibly right shoulder. I mean, that little peak, not for me. Is this a right shoulder developing over now? Maybe later in hindsight it will be, but that's impossible to tell, and that neckline would look funky. I don't see a head and shoulders personally, okay? And what I'm focused in on over here on the Dow is that we've just broken out over here from this channel over here, this downward sloping channel, right? After a bullish move, that is a bullish continuation pattern, similar to what you're seeing happen on the S&P 500 with that descending wedge. And not only that, we've taken out a couple of resistance levels. Let me go ahead and turn them green for you. So right now we have all three markets really repairing some of their damage and just a little bit left to do to turn completely bullish. Now, I've said it before, I said it last week, and I said that it seems to me that everyone is bearish right now in the markets, and a lot of the comments were, no, it seems to me everyone is bullish. All right, well, that's fine. But we have some data to look at right now. This is Nasdaq 100 mini futures, net non-commercial speculation positions, and they're at a record short. So when I said it seems like that everyone is bearish on the market, it turns out I was right. And it's not about opinion, it's about data, and the data is backing it up. And you can see over here that we just took out the 2006 record for the most amount of non-commercial speculative positions short on the Nasdaq. There seems to me that everyone is overly bearish on the market, and rightfully so, perhaps, maybe. There's a lot more than the election. There's a lot more whether, in the future, whether or not we're able to pass on, transition power here in the U.S. or not with a smooth transition. One of the hallmarks of the government of the United States of America. There's also a lot more risks, and the risk is, for one, if President Trump is elected, what's going to happen with China? The market, once tensions start rising, geopolitical tensions start rising, and it's not just a trade war that's going on right now, right? Things are getting really hot when you look at Taiwan and the buildup that's happening over there. There is a lot of possibility in 2021 for one misfire, which could cause a geopolitical event that no one's really watching, right? So the market right now continues to climb this wall of worry But you right here have a record number of people short the market over here. If the markets continue over here to rise, there's going to be a massive amount of short covering. That's more of a risk, in my opinion, than anything else that the market's facing right now. And the risk is to the upside because everyone is looking and worried about the downside. Now, I know some of you don't like to hear that, but we're just here to get everyone on the right side of the market, regardless of what your opinion or my opinion is, right? We're following what's happening here on the charts. If we break out above this last bit of resistance over here, and this is resistance that we're coming into, not only on the Nasdaq, right? Also on the S&P 500, you could see that we're into some prime resistance over here. The bears have a shot over here, no question about it. Now, I talked about clearly on the S&P 500, after seeing this type of breakout, more often than not, we do see a retest and then shoot the sky. That could definitely happen. What about here on the Nasdaq? Is it possible that we pull back into this prime trend line and then yeah. If we break out above this, though, if we break out above this resistance over here, this channel resistance, the all-time highs, or 12,000 even on the Nasdaq, is just a session or two away. And there's going to be a lot of shorts needing to cover. That could propel prices in the near term. And that doesn't mean by the end of the month, by the end of October, the next month, that we won't be rolling over and crashing. But if that's happening, like over here, when we broke down over here, we were ready to play the short side very eagerly, right? Again, over here, watching the short side. We'll be there to watch it, all right? What about what's going on in the DXY? Let's take a look over here. The DXY under a little bit of pressure today. It's not closing at its lows of the day, which was during the London session, although we're here at 94.14. But it is closing towards the low of the day. What's important over here is one thing. Over the weekend, I told you as price was closed all the way up here, Friday's live stream session, that it would not be, it would be realistic actually for price to come back and take another look at 94, right? It looks like that's possibly happening over here. This is a big level, 94, and this trend line over here, right? If price is able to hold over here and resume up, dollar could go bull again, and that will be a very, very nice hold over here. But it will be in jeopardy if it trades below this sloping trend line over here of this being a false counter trend breakout over here. And if that's the case, and then we take out 93.55 support, I'll highlight that later for you if we get close to it. At that point, again, you could have a lot of traders caught on the wrong side over here. Right now, we expect support to hold. Support is 94. We expect this trend line over here to hold until it doesn't. Always expect resistance and support to hold until they don't. That's why we watch what happens coming into those levels, and we'll be monitoring it over here. The dollar is kind of important here for what's taking place here on gold. On silver, we'll look at gold first. Gold right now closing at the 1880 resistance over here. Okay, and you can see right above it, that's coming in at a price of 1890. You got that trend line resistance. A rejection over here should send gold back down and testing last week's low. That's probable. That's possible. I would not take the short. I would not be trading against gold in this environment. What environment is that? It's an environment where precious metals are in a bull market, right? The future trajectory of the Fed's balance sheet is further expansion, adding $1.4 trillion a year. Government stimulus coming. It's coming soon. Don't forget the market's forward looking, right? The market's forward looking, and soon enough, the election is going to be behind us. Soon enough, someone's going to be in the White House, and soon enough, the lawmakers are going to pass stimulus. What happens then, right? Again, the market's forward looking. We're going to follow. I would not short this at all. I believe gold is in a bull, but technically it looks very poor right now. It has lost its bullish structure. In order for me to get bullish on the precious metals again, first on gold, we need to break above 1904. That strong support now turned into resistance, as well as this trend line over here. Clear above this area over here, I will be taking a preemptive trade on the long side. When I say preemptive, I'm talking about this trend line over here, which still stands as strong resistance, and it's still a breakout above that sends gold back towards its all-time highs. What about on silver over here? You could see it's the same situation, or a similar situation, I should say, where it's trading below the trend line. You got horizontal resistance over there. at 24.50 and also the trend line at 24.50. That's a big level. I expect that's where silver runs into trouble and is rejected. I would not short it again, just like gold. I would not short the precious metals. And by the way, as we looked at the live stream in this morning, copper, palladium, and platinum, all extraordinarily bullish. I'm just looking right here at platinum right now, actually up 4% on the day. 4% on the day. And then you see copper back testing $3, and palladium all look very, very bullish. However, silver not looking bullish, not until it regains 24.50, this trend line, this sloping trend line over here, and the horizontal resistance at 24.50. What about Bitcoin over here? Bitcoin is closing today at 10,870. Bitcoin, the important level right now that it held and traded above is 10,570, right? That was a big level over here. You notice that Bitcoin has recently put in a higher swing low, bullish, and it means it needs to take out this area over here, right around 11,000 over here, 11,100, the last swing high, in order to start making not only higher lows, but higher highs. And then we have this area over here. It's this trend line resistance. It's coming in somewhere around 11,480. A break above there, that's when I start getting excited about Bitcoin. And it will only be a matter of time, not only between we take out the August high, but also put a next leg up, taking out this resistance over here. And that will take Bitcoin. Let's take a look over here together. Then we have Bitcoin targeting closer to 13,620. Not only that, also keep in mind, seasonally, October and November are Bitcoin's two best months of the year. We're going to keep this short today. This is a good look, by the way, everybody. I wanted to keep it short, though. Tomorrow morning, I'll see you all for the live stream. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.